Hey, Blue Table fans! I just had a peanut butter shake for breakfast, so if I sound like a dog that just ate peanut butter, that's why. Here with Robbie and Mike. We just barely finished painting this PanO army, and it's sweet!
Yep, this is a military orders army for PanO in the Infinity game. And these guys are pretty awesome.
They're freaking cool! It's an alternate color scheme. The client asked for blue cloth on them and then kind of metallic-y looking armor. So we went with a gray non-metallic metal kind of look to it with some gold highlights on it. Kind of matching some movies featuring knights. And I think it turned out pretty well. I especially like, well, there's three things on here that I really like. I love their white helmets. I think it sets off the contrast really well. I love their swords, the purple and blue on them. And I also love the gem details, like the little sensors and lenses and, yeah, like their engine power plant things on their backpacks. They've all been done really nicely.
These guys here are the Magister Knights. So they've all got swords. They're kind of close combat guys. And I really like these swords. We wanted something that was different than regular, but would still have that cool kind of energy look to them. I liked the blue, it kind of matched, but it didn't want to be exactly, so we added in some purple at the base, and they turned out really nice.
Like their electric power swords.
These other guys here are order sergeants, so they're kind of the more grunt of the military orders. And I love the guy in the back there with the sniper rifle. He's got kind of the TO camo going on in his cloak there. Which is the TO camo is thermal optical camo. So that's pretty cool. The guy right in front here is a knight
Of the Holy Sepulchre.
The Holy Sepulchre. And this guy's pretty cool. What we wanted to have all of their cloth be that blue color, and then the armor gray. For the knights, we did all of their armor gray, and the other guys, so these like order sergeants in the back who are not knights, we did their pants kind of that khaki color there. So they look a little different. That way the knights have all the the heavy armor, the bright blue cloth, whereas the other supporting units are a little bit different.
The airborne infantry also have the khaki pants.
Those guys in the back there too.
I don't remember what they're called, but they're awesome.
Yep.
Show those ones.
I'm getting there. These two guys right here are the remotes. This is a peacemaker and a remote bot behind him there, the little smaller one. And these guys are pretty fun to paint too. They're we wanted to keep the same theme of kind of the gray under armor and then that blue cloth on top. And so the under armor in these guys is the gray, and the top metal armor plates are more of the blue. And then all the little gold highlights and stuff. These guys are Teutonic Knights. So same kind of thing as the rest of the knights. That gray plate armor, blue cloth, a little bit of freehand on the tabards there. And then these guys are the Crusader Brethren that Mike was talking about.
These are my favorites.
These guys are awesome. Once again, they're not knights per se, so they just have the blue tabard and the khaki pants there. Kind of hard to see them, but I love the helmets on these guys, their faces. They look really cool. And all the little glowies on them. Because they're jump troops, so they'd be, a plane flies over and or a spaceship, whatever, from low orbit, and these guys jump out and drop down on the battlefield. So they've got lots of vents and little engines and all kinds of cool stuff. All right, today, guys, we're going to show you how to do that glow effect on the helmets, and it's the same effect on like all the little electronic parts and things that they have on them. But specifically, we're going to show you how to do it on the visors. You have two more guys. They got those little, on their back, the vents. And the TO camo on that guy's cloak there on the inside.
Why'd you choose to use orange?
Orange contrasts very well with the blue and the gray. I thought about using a straight red, but the red and blue sometimes look a little funny when you put them both together. But the orange is kind of, it's just different enough that it really stands out against the blue and the gray.
That's your color theory lesson for the day, because orange is the opposite of blue, right?
Yep, if you look at a color wheel, I'm on opposite contrasting colors.
I think red and blue look weird together also. Looks like America, 4th of July or something.
Yeah, you always want to avoid those colors like red and green.
Yeah, Christmas colors, 4th of July colors, what else? Halloween colors sometimes.
Yeah, some little straight orange and black, pink and white, looks like Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, that one's terrible.
So.
Even red and white sometimes if you're not careful.
Yeah. Alright guys, we're going to now show you how to get that effect, what we did to achieve that glow effect. So right now I have my paints. It doesn't really matter the company or the colors you use exactly, because they're all kind of different and it just depends on what you like. I have a standard white, that's what we used for the helmet. And then I have a kind of a bright red orange. So it's not quite red, it's not really orange, it's kind of a mix in there. This is an older Citadel color, but kind of a bright red orange. Next I have a little bit more of a subdued yellow, so it's a lot darker, and this is Ember Orange from P3, and then kind of a bright, rich yellow orange color. This is Heartfire from P3. So the first thing I'm going to do is start off with my base color. Keep my brush fairly wet. I don't want there to be too much water on the brush, but just enough that the paint's not going to dry out. If the paint dries out, it's difficult and hard to get the colors in there where you need them in a small little space. So first I'm just going to lay that down, kind of right in the crack between the plating there.
What size brush are you using?
Over his eyes. This brush is a number 6, and it's a round point, and it doesn't matter so much the size, it's more the point. If you can see the point of the brush there, you just want to have a brush that has a good point on it. I have this other brush that's a lot smaller brush, but the points are almost the same, and that's what makes the big difference. So this is your kind of Games Workshop Citadel fine detail brush.
Yeah, I do most of my painting with like a 8 or 9 size brush for the tank brushes, and then for the details I find like a 5 or something is usually pretty good.
Yeah. So what's really important is just to keep the tips of your brushes nice and pointy. So go through it one more time to make sure that it's got nice bright color there. Alright. It's off my brush here. Now I'll switch over to this little bit more of a kind of a true orange yellow color. And this one, I'm not going to put across the entire thing because this is kind of the mid-tone highlight color, so just in the large spots. So the eyes, a little bit right in there, kind of right on the eye.
When you're doing small details like this, it's a good idea to brace your wrist against the table to help steady your hand. Robbie's got his left wrist on the table so that he's immobilized it as much as possible while he's painting.
I also have, I'm gripping the miniature well, but with my right hand it's touching the miniature and my other hand. And so that way I'm not going to be shaking too much, but it's all kind of together. Alright, so with this medium orange, I didn't do along the small little divide there or on top. I left some of that deeper orange to show through, and just in the top parts where it kind of opens up right here in the middle and also right here in the back. So rinse out my brush now, and let's switch over to this final bright color.
Now when you're using your palette, when you stick your paint or you brush in your paint, why do you brush it up on the palette a little bit?
If you just put it in there, it's all like thick and gooby. Got a little. If you just stick your paintbrush in there, there's all this paint on the tip of your brush, and you lose that nice point that you had. And so we, brush it off, and really you're just forming the paint to the same shape as the brush and kind of getting it into the bristles, so that your paintbrush is then loaded with paint. As you drag your brush across the surface, it's going to pull the paint out of the bristles and onto the miniature. So now with this final yellow, I'm just going to hit the very insides of the eyes. And ever so slightly on these other little parts. Make sure I got a good hold on the miniature. And just right there. So now those points where you put the yellow really shine out and shine through. But you can still see that dark orange color is still there as well. So you could just finish it there. We're going to take it another step. I have this black Nuln oil wash or ink. And I'm going to take just a little bit of it and kind of put it on the edge of what I did. You have to be careful because you don't want to cover up those highlights that you did. Just enough that it will kind of put a black. If I'm getting a little bit too much on there, just use your finger and you can wipe it away, but it will still leave it in the very kind of crevices. So it's a little too much there, and just kind of wipe it away. But it still leaves enough of a black around the edge that it makes it stand out a little more. Some on the back up here. Kind of wipe away the excess. So there you go. If you wanted to, you could do the ink before you do the final top highlight, or do it again afterwards, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that makes it stand out. If you mess up a little bit and get a little bit too much orange on there around the face, just take your white again. And just kind of go over the edge with the very tip of your brush. And finish it up, covering any little slops that you made or...
I saw you spin your brush on the palette too.
Yeah.
As you spin your brush, generally it helps helps the brush to reform into that fine point.
Yeah, if you just push it down, then it's kind of flat and thin, but as I spin it, keeps it that nice round point. So, there you go. That helps to create that nice kind of deep orange glow look. You can do that same thing with all the other oranges. On this guy we did the exact same effect there in these darks, the vents kind of on his shoulders and on his back. That same dark orange, and then just kind of work it up a little bit more in the center, and then a thin line of that highest yellow kind of right in the center. And it shines through really nice. On these other smaller ones, all I did was the dark orange and then the brightest yellow. Because it's so small, you can't really see a difference in, if you have the three different things. And so I just do two there. I just do the dark orange and then a little tiny dot of the brightest yellow, and it gives it that nice look there. Yep, there you go. Keep watching, guys. We're going to be doing more of these videos in the future. Hopefully we'll be able to do one and kind of show you how we did that sword effect there, that purple and blue, and lots of other stuff. So thanks for watching, guys.